Well, welcome everyone. My name is Stephen Bucher. I am one of the members of the PowerShell team. I am a product manager at Microsoft for PowerShell, and I'm going to be joined with a number of my friends throughout this presentation to share a little bit about the state of the shell. If you haven't seen this presentation before, this is kind of a time for us to talk about the state of where we are with the shell, talk about a lot of the things that us as a PowerShell team have been working on lately, what are the things that we're looking at forward. But we also wanted to take this time and share a bit about the things that we've learned managing PowerShell and how you can also apply that stuff to your own work. And hopefully you can come have a good takeaway at the end of this presentation. Hopefully we'll be showing off some cool stuff that resonates with you guys. But we can get started here. Let's see, slides. Come on. Is it gonna move? Oh, there we go. Cool. So raise your hands. How many people have made a commandlet before? So I'm pretty sure every single hand is up. Yeah, nice. Now, how many people have taken that commandlet and put it into a module? Okay. Now, here's the ultimate one. How many people have published their module to the PowerShell gallery? Or have shared it with someone, even if it's just, a colleague or anything? How many have shared these kind of tools? Okay, I see a lot of good hands. Well, congrats. You guys are builders. You guys are building a solution and a tool for other people to use and consume. This is kind of on the way towards platform engineering and how you can, there's a lot of things that you can consider with building these tools. And we want you guys to think a little bit more deeply about the things that you have to think about when you are building a tool for others to consume. Because us as the PowerShell team, we're doing that ourselves. We're building a tool for you guys to create solutions and to create automation and to accelerate your work. And so we've learned a lot from that, and want to talk about that a little bit here. But it's as a builder and a tool, we want you to think deeply about this. How many people have used VS Code before? How many people use VS Code as their main? Okay, nice. Any PowerShell ISE users as well? A couple? Okay. We all the fun stuff is being developed in VS Code, and especially with some of the latest integration you saw in the previous presentation, GitHub Copilot is getting really, really powerful when it comes to accelerating your workflow to help create these scripts and create these modules and stuff. How many people have used GitHub Copilot before? Okay, pretty much everyone has kind of used it once. I love it. It's been personally such a great accelerator for me to just be able to create code much quicker and easier, just to even prototype it out. And then I can go into the details to really polish and get things to the state I want it to be in. How many people use AZ CLI or AZ PowerShell? Okay. That's another part of our team. We maintain the Azure CLI and Azure PowerShell suite of commands. And so with the Azure PowerShell or Azure CLI commands and stuff, how many people have built solutions on top of that? As far as using those commands to build a solution for solving a problem, whatever that problem may be. Okay. How many people have used any sort of package on the gallery to build up a solution or build up a problem? It's a lot more hands, right? So think about that for a second. You're not only tool builders, but you're also tool users. You're using other people's tools to build more tools and to build and grow and develop solutions for anything and everything that you're trying to accomplish. Be it in your job with new technologies, you are building tools to help you get your work done. So platform engineering is essentially building tools that others can use to solve problems. And this is really cool because when someone takes a dependency on your tool, it is both, very flattering, but it can also be very challenging too, because now you have someone you're somewhat responsible for to help use that tool, to build that tool in a way that you can, the people using it can easily consume it and stuff. So it's really, there's a lot of different responsibilities that kind of come with that. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more here. So you're a builder. all of us are builders here in this room. We're all building solutions with PowerShell. You can't see it. There's a little PowerShell logo on the hammer there. You know, we use PowerShell to solve your problems. You know, writing PowerShell scripts, modules, automating processes. You know, you're thinking in terms of reusable solutions. You know, you're already on the path towards platform engineering. You're not just doing your job, but you're leveling up your organization and your career by thinking differently, as far as you're not only just solving the problem, but you're also thinking about how other people can be using this to solve their problems. And that's really powerful. And so our team, we're builders too. Like, how do we kind of know about this? We do a lot of reflection and thinking about how we can make PowerShell the best tool it can be for you guys to use and trust and rely upon. We're builders ourselves. And so we want to talk about a little bit of the things that we've been building lately, so you can see some of the stuff that's been new and some of the stuff that we're looking forward towards building in the future here. And I think I have a picture of our work uniform. Yeah, there we go. And if you can't, he's not here today, but someday he'll watch the recording. But that's my manager, Michael Green. That's his actual uniform at work. If he says otherwise, he's lying. No, it's But, you know, I've always been a builder. I've always loved building solutions and stuff, even, you know, from a very, very early age. You know, and yes, that is me in a data center. I was my father's certified flashlight holder from a very early age. So, you know, I can really talk about all this stuff, you know, but it's a lot of us, it's ingrained in us. We want to build and we want to build for ourselves, but we also love to help people build on top of our tools. So let's talk a little bit about PowerShell. So PowerShell 7.5 was released earlier this year. This is our latest stable release in PowerShell. If you're not familiar, our even number releases, so 7.4 is a long-term service release. 7.5 is our latest stable release, and so that gives us a little runway as far as supporting. We're really get a little bit of flexibility of the things that we can put into this stable release that isn't as breaking as we want to be with some of the LTS releases. But 7.5 was really a community-driven release. We focused a lot on community contributions in this release. So if you'll go in the changelog, you'll see a lot of different community contribution names, a lot of PRs that are cited with community members that we've reviewed and helped and collaborated with. How many people have contributed to the PowerShell repo before? Even it's an issue or a PR, any little thing? How many people knew that PowerShell is open source now? Yeah, it's been open source for a long time now, but it's something that we really, really love, and we really emphasize why it's important for us to use. Anyway, so another thing that we want to show off is the PowerShell gallery. So our team maintains the PowerShell gallery, and you guys are not making it easy for us to maintain. And I'll tell you why. Because every day, 450 published packages a day to the gallery go out. So every single day, there's so many different packages in the gallery that it's very hard for us to keep up with, to be quite honest. And it's really awesome to see that we're still growing such a big community of sharing these tools and sharing these solutions for you. So, 450, that's about, I think, this room plus another half of the room of people publishing every day new tools and new ways to automate and get your job done. So that's really exciting. And you can even, I know it's super tiny here, but on the gallery, the last I took the screenshot, I think that's 21 billion total package downloads from the last time I checked. I'm sure it's grown by then. I know this is a few months old, but the PowerShell gallery is growing and growing. And so it's such a great resource to find the different tools that you want to use to help build your solutions out. So what about PowerShell 7? So PowerShell 7 is growing as well. We have over 200 million machines using PowerShell 7 monthly. I have no idea how many times that room, the people in this room is to get to 200 million, but I know it's a lot. So it's quite a large number. Even us on the team, it's hard for us to wrap our minds around. But that's not the biggest number we have, actually. PowerShell 7 is started up over 2 billion times per month. That's massive. That's what, a quarter of the population of the world now? Like, every month we have pwsh.exe started up over 2 billion times. So it's still growing. PowerShell Community is growing. PowerShell usage is growing. PowerShell is always growing and is still kind of continually being the glue language to bring things together. You heard in the last session, it's still the glue language for some of these AI things that are coming out. It's still going to be a glue language for all your DevOps infrastructure, your system admin administration and stuff. And it's a really, really awesome tool that is maturing and being somewhat timeless in its utility. So let's talk a little bit more about what we've been up to. I'm actually going to introduce one of my teammates, Autumn. Why don't you come up here? Everyone give a round for Autumn. So Autumn is one of the engineers on the PowerShell team. This is her first time at PSConfEU. She works directly on the PowerShell Gallery and PS Resource Get, and a bunch of the stuff with PowerShell security and stuff. So please talk to her about anything like that. So here you go. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what we've been doing with MAR? And well, first off, what is MAR?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. So just to begin, hello, everybody. My name is Anam. I am a software engineer on the PowerShell team, and I work on PS Resource Get, PowerShell Gallery, and security. And we're going to do a quick not deep dive, but a little bit. We're going to talk about MAR and some of the cool things you could do with that with PS Resource Get. So as builders, you guys obviously want to use modules and tools that are trusted. And we as a team have been addressing some of the feedback we've been getting about how when you're consuming these modules from PowerShell Gallery, sometimes it's hard to tell if a module is trusted, if it is indeed Microsoft owned. And our solution for that has been adding support to PS Resource Get, which is our package manager tool, to connect to MAR or Microsoft Artifact Registry, which is Microsoft's trusted and official source for all artifacts. And we've been trying to extend on that and make sure that we can publish our PowerShell modules to MAR as well and give you guys the tool to be able to consume PowerShell modules from there. And the big news is that as of this moment, all the AZ modules are available and live on MAR. So if in the past you've been consuming those AZ modules from PowerShell Gallery, you can now get it from MAR, and you can use them in your CI/CD workflows and in your supply chain and have the peace of mind that these are indeed trusted and vetted Microsoft modules. And I'll go over this more in my session tomorrow, so feel free to come and check it out, and we can see how you can set up consumption of these AZ modules from MAR. And soon we will also have other Microsoft PowerShell modules available on MAR. So if there's any that you use and you would really like to see available there, come talk to me also. Would love to hear which ones are used in your daily situations. And our vision here as the team is that eventually all Microsoft PowerShell modules will be available on MAR. So if you're trying to get that and use it in your supply chain, you are going primarily to MAR over PowerShell Gallery. Yeah. And I'll hand it back to Stephen to talk about other AZ and AZ toolset exciting news that's coming.
Awesome. Thank you, Autumn. Give it up for Autumn. So trust is a big thing for us. And so trust, being able to trust the packages that you're getting from MAR is vital for us. So like Autumn said, we're trying to, we have a vision of pushing all of our PowerShell, our Microsoft-built PowerShell modules to MAR so that you can know that the source you're getting it from is trusted and for sure has the Microsoft stamp on it. So that's something we've been really excited about. Another thing we've been really excited about is a bunch of security and long-term service changes with Azure CLI and Azure PowerShell. So if you're using these tools, you want to make sure they're trusted, the quality is good, and they're not going to be breaking for you all the time. So we've introduced a number of new features in AZ CLI and AZ PowerShell. The first one is WAM. So Microsoft Web Account Manage is now the default authentication method on Windows. This was a big change. And then we've also done a number of smaller security posturing for the PowerShell modules, such as get AZ access token, introduce a breaking change where one of the parameter types for strings are now secure strings. And a big thing is that we've been introducing a long-term support or an LTS support for Azure PowerShell and Azure CLI. This means that you can use the specific LTS versions in your scripts to make sure that they don't change for the given amount of time. I'll have links and stuff to learn more about what that long-term service looks like and what's kind of the expectations and stuff. But we want to make sure that the tools that we build that you're using don't break all the time, and we have a much stricter cadence of when we will be introducing breaking change, because sometimes things are a little bit unavoidable, but we want to make sure that you can rely and trust and use these tools pretty well reliably. I believe the first time it was introduced was November of this year, and then we just announced at Build in May around the Azure CLI long-term and short-term servicing releases. We encourage you to choose between LTS and STS based on your specific needs. If you're looking for enterprise-grade stability and minimal risks, LTS is the way to go. If you like early access to the latest features, STS is the way to go as well. But we've also made a whole number of improvements to the Copilot in Azure's response rate for generating Azure CLI and Azure PowerShell commands. So one of the key things, and I'll be talking about this more tomorrow, but the Copilot in Azure is this free tool that you can use in the Azure portal or in VS Code or in the shell itself that you can get Azure assistance tailored to your experience. You learned about RAG and stuff. Now imagine RAG, but for your entire Azure environment and all of the things that you can use with Azure. And so one of those things you can use with Azure is use Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell to create these commands. And without RAG or without a certain amount of grounding, a lot of these large language models will just hallucinate. And so we have done a huge amount of work to make sure the quality of commands that you get from these tools is reliable, up to date, and is syntactically correct. So it's not going to be hallucinating. So we have some really exciting stuff there that we've been working on. And so quality is a big thing for us there. Cool. Let's talk about AI Shell for a moment. Who's heard of AI Shell before? Couple hands. Okay. So AI Shell, this is my baby, and but it is we're trying to stay on top of the cutting edge technology that's been going on in the AI space. And one of the ways we've been looking at that is how we can basically a fundamental question of how we can bring AI assistance directly into your shell to accelerate your workflow and accelerate the work that you want to get done. And so we've done that with AI Shell. And so AI Shell is your in-shell assistant to help you generate commands, help you troubleshoot errors, and help you get started with any sort of PowerShell commands that you would like. It connects you to your AI assistants of your choice, and I'll be talking about this more in depth tomorrow as well. So look out for that session tomorrow to get a little bit a deep dive, a more deep dive look into it. So cool. It's getting a little lonely upstage. Let me introduce another one of my team members onto the stage here. Tess is here. Everyone, give a round of applause for Tess. It is also her first PSConfEU. Tess is one of our engineers. Actually, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Thanks, Steven. Hi, folks. My name is Tess. I'm a software engineer on the PowerShell and OpenSSH team at Microsoft, and I'm really excited to be with you all today. I wanted to talk a little bit about desired state configuration. As many of you know, we had a V1, and now we are working on V3. V1 was typically used for configuring Windows servers with their applications and services. And just to back up a little bit, desired state configuration is what's known as configuration as code. So it is a declarative way to specify what you want rather than exactly how to get what you want. So now with V3, we have a little bit of an expanded use case. So we have some changes in our design from V1 that I just want to highlight. The first of which is that it is decoupled from PowerShell. This means that DSC is cross-platform and can be invoked natively on your machine. So it can be used from anything from a Windows server to a small, lightweight device at the edge. Another thing is that resources can be developed in any language. So previously, resources were written in PowerShell, and all of those V1 resources are still compatible with V3, but you can also use whatever language you are more comfortable with to develop those resources. We're working on some tutorials. Mikey has a really great Go tutorial for developing a resource there. And we actually have some community members who are working on developing Python resources. I think, is Heist here today? Yes.
Oh, there he is.
Heist has been doing really great work. I just want to shout that out. Yeah, round of applause, definitely. So thank you so much for that. And thank you to our other community members who have been with us on this early adoption of DSC v3.
And it's been moving fast, right? Like we just GA'd 3.0, a few months ago now? Is it?
Spring, yeah.
And I had to update this slide literally Friday because 3.1 came out last week. And 3.2 is also coming soon. So we're continually developing and growing with this. So we'd love to hear from you more about DSC and how we can help V3 work for you. And we developed very quickly on this, but it's a really exciting space that we're working on as well. So cool. Should we? I think we probably want to show off some cool stuff with DSC, right?
Definitely.
So we have a little video here. I'm going to hit play.
Yeah, so this is a demo from Jason that I will talk through, but we're going to use a Windows Server 2025 to configure a simple web server. And you'll see that the demo is legit. So if we go to the local host right now, it's not going to load because we don't have it up and running yet. So that times out. And we're going to use Bicep for our configuration file. DSC also supports JSON and YAML. So again, author the configuration in whatever you're comfortable with. So we'll see in our Bicep file, we have the target scope set to desired state configuration. This is an experimental feature. So if you do try this out in Bicep, make sure you have it enabled. And we have our PowerShell adapter resource that we're highlighting there.
I think this is a V1 resource, right?
This is. So our V1 resource is compatible with the V3 DSC.
Yep. So you don't have to rewrite anything. Just
no rewriting. So all of that work is still good. So we're going to call our Windows feature resource and make sure that we are ensuring a web server is present. So now we'll run the bicep build command, and this will generate a DSC JSON. So this will take a second. And again, you'll see the message that it's an experimental feature.
But now we got the JSON file.
We'll check out our JSON, make sure that it is what we were expecting for our DSC command, and then we'll pass that into DSC with a config set command. And this part of the demo is a little bit sped up while it takes some time to configure. Normally it would take about like 90 seconds, and we'll see when it's done, DSC outputs a YAML for an interactive session and JSON for a non-interactive session. And when we refresh, our web server is up and running.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, we can clap on that. That's So it's really awesome the stuff we're doing with DSC, being able to use different languages, export to JSON, and use it with all these different resources. So we're really excited about that. Another thing that we call ourselves the PowerShell team, but we're there's a lot under our umbrella. Like I said, DSC is a big thing that we work on. Another thing we work on is OpenSSH, and Tess is actually our genius SSH engineer on the team. So she's been really working hard to get SSH onto Windows and working to maintain SSH in a great way. So yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about what we've been doing with SSH?
Sure. So OpenSSH for Windows is our open source fork of OpenSSH Portable. Our goal is to increase SSH usage on Windows and in Azure and make it the default remoting software for the platform. One of the main changes that you've probably seen is that in Windows Server 2025, the OpenSSH server is installed by default. So this makes getting started with SSH easier than ever. So if you would like to learn more about OpenSSH, we've got a session later this week to talk through that and what's going on with OpenSSH and SSH Arc. I'll hand it back to Steven to talk about some of our other investments in SSH in the Azure space.
Yeah, thanks, Tess. So I'll actually introduce another friend of mine, Motoma. Why don't you come up here? Another thing we've been doing is posture control for SSH. And how we've been doing that is through Azure policy and Azure machine configuration. And yeah, Motoma, why don't you introduce yourself? Just tell folks a little bit about what you do and what they can talk to you about.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back. My name is Mutemo Masheke. I'm the product manager for Azure Machine Configuration. I also am a PM on Azure Policy, and that's why a lot of our scenarios are tightly integrated for you to enforce, server settings, workloads, and other things as code at scale in Azure. And just as Steven mentioned, we have two sets of policies, one for Windows, one for Linux, that allows you to, out of the box, declaratively enforce SSH posture on your machines at scale. And so I'll be around for the next couple of days during this conference. So if you have any questions about machine config, Azure policy, or server configuration management in general, whether you're a current user or you're using something else, I'm happy to have a conversation as well. So yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Mutuma. So that's a little bit about what we've been doing lately, and I wanted to take a moment as a reflection point here. Sydney Smith is a member of our team, and she unfortunately couldn't be here, but she's been at PSConfEU in the past before, and she came up with a really brilliant quote that we just absolutely love and is going to put on every deck that we have, which is, the one thing that we've learned is over the years is that the world moves quickly. Building is easy. Oh, I'm so jet lagged. But supporting is hard. And I want to think about that for a second. It's super easy to build something. But once you build it, you kind of have to support it now if people are going to be using that. And this is something that we face all the time with PowerShell. We want to build and keep growing PowerShell, but we also have to maintain a level of quality and trust that you guys have in the PowerShell so that things don't break. We're open source with PowerShell, and I'll be honest, it takes us a while to review PRs. It takes us a while to review issues. And that is purposeful. We have to be very, very careful and very, very mindful of the changes that we take into PowerShell. PowerShell is a very mature product. Like you saw, over 200 million machines use it a month. 2 billion sessions do it. We cannot just take every change and expect it to work for everyone. We have to make sure that we understand that, hey, this works reliably. This is something that people can trust on. This doesn't break any existing things. And we want to make sure it is up to a very high standard of code. Excuse me. It may only be 2 lines of code, but maybe those 2 lines of code will help you, but it breaks the entire rest of the world. So we must keep PowerShell stable. And we saw this great XKCD about how all of modern infrastructure is kind of built on some project a random person in Nebraska has been thanklessly maintaining since 2003. Does this seem familiar to anyone, or they don't want to admit they've been using this one thing from 2003? No. And stability matters. And it's really important. And we see we've built this amazing thing with this tool, but what happens when you stop maintaining that? The whole thing topples down. And so we are keeping this in mind, for PowerShell, but also for you, the things that you're building, right? If other people are using those tools, you have to kind of keep this in mind as well. The kind of quality and responsibility you have for maintaining a tool that can be used and shareable for others. That's the kind of a core concept of platform engineering. So you guys are all thinking this way, and you may not realize it, is that people are relying upon the tools that you're building, and building was one thing. Supporting is a different thing. So this kind of led us to a number of, you've been hearing me say all these trust, security, these core fundamental things. And these are a couple of our core fundamentals when it comes to changes and things that we're building within PowerShell or within our team. Security is big, privacy is huge, quality is massive, supportability is gigantic, but they're all the same level of granularity there. We have loads of documentation and loads of information out there on how you can make your tools much better in these spaces here. We're really focusing on how we can help support you as tool makers to make the best tools out there that can be consumed and used by everyone else. So we have a bunch of this stuff. Support lifecycle is a big part of this. But I want to, bring it back towards this, back to the beginning of you guys are builders, right? You have to keep the lights on. And it's very important for you guys to keep the lights on because in a lot of cases, people's lives rely on these infrastructures. Think about hospital scenarios. Think about life-saving critical devices that rely on the infrastructure that you build. That's vital. And so it's something that is very, very important to keep up and keep things up to date. And if things aren't supportable, sometimes this is where we lead to outages and stuff. It's also about your life too. You want to use things that are supportable and maintainable in a way that you can trust the code and the infrastructure that you've built out so that you don't have to spend your nights debugging or putting out a fire. You want to be able to spend your time with your family and get the work done that you want and advance your own career and your growth that way. And so our core principle on the PowerShell team is to help the lives of people in operations. And how we do that is pretty ambiguous, but we want to make sure that we build a tool that you can rely on, that you can trust and use and be happy with. And so we've been really, really focusing these last year, 6 months to making things more secure, more reliable, more trustable for the things that you've been building. Excuse me. And this kind of principle of platform engineering doesn't just apply to PowerShell. We know that your guys' work is not all just PowerShell. PowerShell is a big part of it, but there's a lot of these different tools out there in DevOps, in cloud infrastructure, in system administration that you can kind of apply a principle of making sure things are supportable and manageable and resilient to the future. And so we want to have you guys think about how you've been building these PowerShell modules and these scripts and stuff and kind of apply it in a sense to other ways. Ask yourself the question of, can someone easily use this code? Is it well commented? Is it well supportable? Is it well trusted by others? Can people trust and rely on this? So there isn't a big, so that if there is a big tower built upon your solutions, it's not going to collapse at a single point there. And maturity is the big thing for PowerShell. PowerShell is one of the tools in your toolbox that you go to super often, and it's going to stay reliable and stuff for you. But it's, again, not your only tool. You have a big toolbox as developers and as builders. You are open to building everything. Excuse me. So you guys are all here because you want to learn. You guys are all here because you want to advance your career. Just by being here, you are showing a agency of being able to learn and grow and help your work grow. And so this is a super, super unique opportunity here at this conference, is to not only learn from sessions, but learn through discussions and learn through conversations, learn about these tools. A lot of the people here may be the maintainers of the tools that you use. And so talk to them, understand better, their thinking, understand better how you can use their tools better, or take some of the principles that they've learned while building their tools and apply it to your own thing. This is a very unique opportunity. And so we really encourage you guys to chat with people, take someone's learning as your training, right? We're here to learn and grow and accelerate all together here today. And so, we're really excited to be here as Microsoft. We're really excited to share for the rest of the week a bunch of the stuff that we've been building. And then, why don't we go off? We've been talking a lot about the sessions that we've had upcoming. And so here's a list of kind of the schedules from Microsoft folks. Actually, why don't the Microsoft folks come up on stage here just so you can see everyone's faces again. We have a lot to learn too. We're not going to be the ones to say that we know everything. Everything that we built is perfect. We're learning and growing, and so we want to hear from you guys, the people who are using the tools daily and stuff. So here is the Microsoft crew here. Also, Demetrius is the guy in the blue shirt here. He's works on Winget, so anything to do with Winget, also DSC stuff, Windows configuration, talk to him about it. But wanted to make sure you guys have faces you can go to talk about anything to do with PowerShell, SSH, Winget, machine config, policy, or any other problems that you'd like to share with Microsoft. Please talk to any of us this week. We're really excited to chat and learn more and grow with you. So thank you guys for coming up stage. So we're really excited to be sharing off a whole load of sessions this week. So definitely be sure to take a look. The last thing I'll just end off with is, the community doesn't have to end here. Obviously, we see the people here together in this room. We have a sense of community with PowerShell, and we will learn a lot here in these conversations together. But it's not the only place. You can join us online and across the variety of different PowerShell sources, platforms to talk PowerShell and help learn and grow your tools. A big way we do this is the community call. How many people have attended the community call before? Good amount of hands. So the PowerShell community call is a community call held by us, the PowerShell team, every third Thursday of the month at 9:30 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. I should have put that on the slide now that I'm realizing it. But Pacific Standard Time at 9:30 a.m. So here in Europe, it's going to be later in the evening. We do have a time in March and September that we try to do for folks in Asia and Australia time zones. But you can find more information at aka.ms/pscommunitycallinfo. You'll find all the information, all the past recordings. It's a great way for us to kind of share the things that we've been building, invite members of the community to demo and share out things and have a wonderful discussion there. So really encourage folks to check out there. Also, all the stuff that I talked about here, we put it into a discussion page where you can dive deeper into the things that we've talked about in this session. You can go to aka.ms/SOTS 2025 or State of the Shell. And you'll find links to everything that we talked about. I've also included a bunch of resources for learning on how you can better accelerate your platform engineering journey with things like script security, authoring, execution policies, PowerShell docs, how you can better build robust solutions for people to consume. The kind of takeaway here is you get involved with the community. The PowerShell community is truly one of the most lively and active communities I've seen, and it's a great way for everyone to stay in touch, to learn something new, to figure out problems together, and grow and develop together. And so we really encourage you to become a part of the member of the community if you aren't already. And ultimately, we want you to learn something new this week. We're all here to learn, we're all here to grow, and we want to encourage that. And so, yeah, I think that's the kind of wrap up of my talk here, and I'm pretty much right at time. I believe we have lunch. We have a break, and then we have lunch next. So thank you so much, everyone, for having me and having the rest of the Microsoft team. Come talk to us. Come to our sessions. We'd love to hear from you, and have a great PSConfEU. Thank you, everyone.